I bought a call options before earning because I believed that the stock was gonna go up. Earnings came out and the stock did exactly the way I expected it to do, but I was still losing money. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Rahema, and on this channel I share my trading experience, my mistakes and my strategy to help you become a better trader. Let me tell you what happened. So there was a time when SoFi was a very hot stock. It was all over social media. People were talking about SoFi this, SoFi that. SoFi was trading around $26, $25 a share. And at some point it reached to $30 a share. Then we had a pullback and it pulled back to $20 a share. So I saw that as an opportunity for me to get into a long position. I said, why not? The earnings came out and they beat expectation. I mean, they did so well. And the stock rallied. Guess what? My calls contract were bleeding. I was losing money. I couldn't just understand, why am I losing money? SoFi's earnings were very great and the stock went up. Then why my options are losing value? The answer is simple. Implied volatility was my problem. And if you're an option trader, you should try your best to understand implied volatility, because if you do not understand implied volatility, you will cry blood just like I did. So what is implied volatility? Implied volatility is the market expectation of how much the stock will move in the future. I need you to pay attention here. Implied volatility does not tell you where the stock will go. Instead, implied volatility tells you how much movement traders expect the stock to make. Think of implied volatility as weather forecast. If the forecast says there's a high chance of a big storm tomorrow, people might prepare for it. They might buy food, they might buy umbrella, or they might decide to stay indoors. Before earnings are out, traders expect a big move on the stocks, and because of that, the option prices or the options premiums becomes more expensive. After the earnings are reported, the uncertainty in the market disappears because the forecast is no longer needed. And if the stock makes a small or a bigger move, it doesn't really matter because people are no longer eager to know what will the company report for their earnings. So because of that, implied volatility will drop, which will in turn affect our option contract, and they will tremendously lose value. That is what is called an implied volatility crash. One thing you need to understand is that the option pricing does not only depend on the price of the underlying asset. There are so many factors that affect how an option is priced. And some of those factors are price of the underlying asset, in this case will be the stock, time to expiration, interest rates, implied volatility, and dividend. So in my case, the stock went up and even exceeded my expectation, but IV crashed. So that explains why my call options were bleeding. People ask me this question: how does implied volatility affect my option contract? Option pricing is affected by different factors, one being implied volatility. And implied volatility is in correlation or is in relation to one of the Greeks. Remember, I've talked about the Greeks on my channel, so if you haven't watched the video on the Greeks, you can go back and scroll on my channel. I'm sure I have a video about the Greeks. And one of the Greeks that is in relation to implied volatility is Vega. Let me give you a scenario that will help you understand implied volatility even better. Let's say our option contract is valued at $2, the current option price before the IV crash. And then we have implied volatility, 80% implied volatility currently. And then we have our Vega 0.40. Okay, so we have our option or premium of $2. Our implied volatility is currently at 80% and Vega is 0.40. Now let's say the earnings are out and now everybody knows what the company, how the company performed, if they missed or if they beat expectations. And let's say now this 80% drops all the way to 60%. Remember, Vega will be added or subtracted to our premium for every 1% move on implied volatility. So if implied volatility moves up with 1%, this 0.40 will be added to our contract. And if it moves down with 1%, this 0.40 Vega will be subtracted from our option contract. Our implied volatility was 80%, and now it came all the way down to 60%. Now we have a 20% drop. We will do 0.40 times 20%. So we're gonna get $8. So if we take this $8 to subtract to our $2 option contract, that will explain why our option contract will be losing money. Our option contract will be -6. So in my SoFi trade, the stock went up, but because it was during earnings seasons and implied volatility was highly elevated, that explains why I kept on losing money even when the stock moved with $15 in my favor. So how do you avoid IV crash? Number one priority will be knowing when the companies that you're trading have earnings. Number two, always look at implied volatility first before taking any trade. Ask yourself a question: is implied volatility high or is implied volatility low? As an option buyer, you need to buy when implied volatility is low and sell when implied volatility is high. So just be careful. You can avoid the earnings week completely. Just taking 1 week break, it does not harm anybody. You can stay away from the market for that earnings season because it's better not to take a trade than taking a trade and ending up losing your money. Number three, consider trading strategies that are IV friendly, like premium strategies. This one will help you to have a specific amount of money that you can lose if the trade ends up going against you. If you've ever bought an option and you are right on the option direction but still lost money, comment me in the comments and I'll personally console you. And if you want to understand options trading without learning the hard way like I did, make sure you subscribe to my channel because I share very valuable information and I share my experiences and the mistakes that I made so you don't have to make the mistakes that I did. As usual, guys, I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any topic in mind that you would love me to go into details and explain on that topic, do not hesitate to put it in the comment section and I will be so happy and glad to do that for you. I will see you guys in my next video.